Hi, this is David Newren, and I was just having a interesting thought that these things that I experience in my body as pain and suffering can go away about as quickly as I want it to. And so if I close my eyes and relax and surrender into, the tensions and emotions that are locked into the body, they begin to lighten up and lift. And when they lighten up enough, you're able to notice that it's undefined, unstructured, infinite consciousness that when merged with reality kind of eats it, loses the form and structure of its of what locks it into position. And it brings about a state of kind of a union, the oneness. So all of those things in my body that I can feel are keeping me locked into my identity, locked into the personality and the story of my life. It's time for me to fully experience them now. And experience them to the point that my awareness and my perceptions are able to embrace the divine, and then to allow the divine to consume what my experience of myself is. And I know that sounds like a weird thing to say, but who are we trying to protect? Are we trying to protect a dream? A state of being lost and not knowing? Because we assume that whatever it is that we're experiencing ourselves to be right now is our true truth, our real reality. It's not um, a temporary stop, a temporary limitation and solidity, something that gives form and structure to consciousness. But there's an ebb and flow with that, and we've experienced solidity, personality, believing in dreams as truth. And now it's time for an awakening, a remembering, a return home, I think is probably most accurate. And it's not going anywhere. It's being present within your body. With an openness and a focus of your consciousness on the experience of being you. Now it's easy to get knocked back out of your body again, because the amount of suffering and sorrow, regret, all of that stuff that you didn't want to feel or see or hear, that created the form and structure of your reality of being lost and being asleep and living a life of confusion, of not knowing who and what you are. And it's not for us to figure out, it's for us to just remember at what point in time that we decided that we were going to remember. Because all we're doing is awakening to the truth that we've known before, the truth that we've come to know as home. So this is the return. And it's you that gets destroyed. The disappointments, the regrets, the guilt, the emotions, the anger, the hate, the embarrassment, the shame. All of it gets to go because it can't maintain its reality in the form and structure of its existence in the light of truth. The truth that holds it all and gives it place. And then when seen too clearly to the point of remembrance, then the dream fades away and you awaken back to you. And so it's not about you doing anything really except being willing to be done and complete and finished with all of this that you've been. Willing to say, okay, that's it. It ends now in my return to remembering our truth that sets us free. We don't have to define that. All we have to do is open up and feel it. What is that? What is our truth that sets us free? What is my truth that sets me free? And you open and receive it. Then your surrender is working. I keep coming back to the point where I feel and I'm against what I'm feeling and I'm trying to get rid of it, but that's where you're stuck again in trying to give credibility to your limited sleeping state of consciousness as being what's real and true about you. It's a temporary deviation is all it is. It's not real, it's not true. It's a flash in eternity that comes and goes again. And at the end of that flash, you come back to yourself. So that's what time it is, to come back to ourselves, each one of us. By letting go of the creation of us. The stories, the memories, the contextual truths that define our existence. So the body can move around a little bit and find those spots where the energy just wants to open up and be free. Where it's done being constrained and contained and limited. So just feel all of that. And allow the solidity of it all just to unwind on your inspection of it, your willingness to experience it. What's it going to be like to feel freedom in my own body? I don't know, because I've never felt that. Except for once. Once in a real awakening, unaccompanied by drug-induced clarity. But an actual remembering, an actual awakening, an actual experience of the complete dissolution of identity. What can you hold on if you no longer have what can you hold on to when you no longer have an identity? When there's no longer a story that you believe is something that defines you, something that contains you, something that predicts your future. And when you've entered your heart of darkness and confronted your terror of what you are, then you awaken within the limitations of your personality and your identity and your story and your connections. You awaken in the life that you have. The more you awaken, the more the solidity of the way things have been for you dissipates, until you're no longer controlled and manipulated by your reality, by your connections. You return again to your sovereignty, stable and present. And in each moment, freer. Less and less bound, less and less damned. Your limitations just literally fading away in each moment. The stillness that inspires all the movement, that's you. Don't do anything. You're the stillness that inspires creation to move. The stillness that awakens within the body the consciousness of eternity. The awareness of the universal. How does that change who we are here? Can it change us so much that we can no longer live the life that we've lived in the way that we have? Yeah, unfortunately, if you awaken, you can't be you anymore. You have to be the truth of you that you don't know when you're not awakened. What's it like to finally have your heart open and begin to feel authentically compassionate? Instead of forever being on guard against being hurt or disappointed or manipulated or tricked by someone else, you transcend the story of you by your awakening. And in that awakening, your reality shifts with you. So do your relationships. What is it that keeps some awakened so they don't return again to their sleep, to the noise of confusion? It's that willingness to take your medicine, to receive the punishment, if you want to put it that way, of the results of your choices. Knowing that it's your responsibility for the life that you have and the body that you're perceiving through. The condition of that is you, the degree of your presence. So now what? We all want it better. There's nobody that doesn't want their life better than it is. So let it. Let it by allowing yourself to dissolve. The story's not real. The story's not true. The story's not you. What is? What is actually real and true about you? And how do you experience it? Well, first you experience it by experiencing your body. Not going numb to the pains and the sorrows and the emotions that you pushed away. You have to allow those to flow through you now. And so what you do is you open up and you feel it, and then you let go. And you allow it to begin to flow. And the more it flows, the more you surrender. The more you surrender, the more you open. The more you open, the bigger the flow. Until all the constraints can have a cathartic release. Just keep opening and stay in the opening. You can't be overwhelmed if you're more aware eternally and universally than anything that opposes you. No, and we're not talking about doctrine, we're talking about experiential reality of the moment. We're talking about now. Yeah, so feel that. Feel the you that is now. And open up and take your medicine. Allow yourself to experience everything that you pushed away. Your enemy is also your friend. Your friend that's secretly hoping that you awaken enough to be able to save them from themselves by being an example for them of someone they're connected to that awakens and remembers. And embodies their truth again. So since you do that for your enemies, do it for your friends, your family, your lovers, your kids. Remember so that everyone that reaches out to you encounters truth and compassion and understanding, and hopefully wisdom. how to how to deal responsibly with the life that you have. Well, how does the heart become so shut down? Such that it seizes the entire body in defensive fear. Your willingness to confront that by connecting and opening and receiving, and opening more and receiving more. That's how you open enough to return to your truth. How present do we need to be to take responsibility for the life that we have? To actually be responsible here. To be honestly predictable. To be known by our good works. We're moving through the darkness. But that doesn't mean it's the truth. It just means that that's where we store our not knowing. We store our resistance. And where we experience confusion as a result of not knowing how to know. So it's a journey of the moment. It's whatever you feel, open into it until you understand it. And when you understand it, then you can let go of it and it ceases to exist. It transmutes and transcends. And all the energy and consciousness of it returns to source. And that's all you're doing is letting go of your consciousness and your identity so that it can return to source, so that source can be present as you. Your source consciousness. So fill your body with that, your source consciousness. Whatever you feel it with your source consciousness, with the truth of you. Makes it much easier to cleanse your temple when you're doing it from the destination, not the beginning. Because unless the destination is your truth, then it won't work. And if the destination is your truth, then that's what occurs in the moment before dissolution. And the moment can only be now. So whenever you're ready in this now, then that's your now to awaken. An awakening into actually being here and actually being present. Present as a consciousness is not being trapped by the manipulations of polarity. Well, I seem to have gotten to the point where, my point is continue in the surrendering. And whether I should do it on camera or not, I don't know. I don't do this to entertain anybody. I just do it because when I'm doing it, I'm able to go through the experience myself and get the benefit of it. So for me, it's selfish. Yet at the same time, I hope it's something that could be useful to you. To anybody that's, sharing the kind of reality that I've lived in my life. I'd like to show somebody that it's an easy road back to your truth. Let it happen. Just don't stop. You just allow the disillusion of the false you that you thought that you were, that you're not.